Yo, what up YouTubers, it's your boy AlteredTech back again with the new video, and in this video we'll be talking about the Samsung Galaxy Note Pro 12.2. And in this video I'll go over the history of it, the specs, the performance, how the S Pen actually performs, the updates, and the pricing in 2019. Now first off, this was released in March 2014. It started off with Android 4.4 and the retail price was about $749, which is pretty steep. Now in my opinion, this was the iPad Pro before the iPad Pro existed, and what I mean by that, well, we have to go ahead and check out the specs real quick. Now the specs, you're getting an LCD display, kind of shocking from Samsung. You would expect an AMOLED, but for $749 you're getting an LCD display which had about 247 pixels per inch. It was about 12.2 inches. It had a capacitive touchscreen, an S Pen feature. It had a 2560 by 1600 resolution, and let me just add that this display was covered with a Gorilla Glass 3. Now this also had 3 GB of RAM, which seems pretty low by today's standards. It also had a 32 GB or 64 GB of storage, and it also has a micro SD card slot which could support up to 64 GB of storage. Now as for the processor, it has a Snapdragon 800. Now if you don't know what the Snapdragon 800 chip is, it's pretty much similar to the Apple A7 chip, which was manufactured by Samsung, I believe. And as for the A7 chip, well, you could definitely find that on the iPhone 5S, the Apple iPad Air, and the second and third generation iPad minis. So now this device is kind of old. Now the thing about this is that it's upgradable to 5.0.2 Lollipop, and it does come with the TouchWiz UI, and it does have an Adreno 330 GPU. Now the reason why I brought up the A7 chip is that these two are pretty much similar in terms of performance. According to Geekbench 3, the Snapdragon 800 had a performance score of 2,595, while the A7 had a score of 2,694. Now let's go ahead and talk about the cameras. As for the rear camera, you have an 8 megapixel shooter. As for the selfie camera, you have a 2 megapixel shooter, and both of them can record at 1080p at 30 frames per second, and spoiler alert, they kind of suck. Now as for the speakers, you do have dual speakers on the sides, and they do provide a stereo sound experience. As for Bluetooth, you're stuck with Bluetooth 4.0. You do have a 9,500 mAh battery, which sounds enormous, but for a tablet, it's something that you would expect. As for the USB port, you have a micro USB 3.0 port, quite similar to what you would find on a Galaxy S5. This also comes with GPS, Wi-Fi, a gyroscope, and the LTE is actually optional. This weighs about 1.66 pounds, and to me it's not too heavy, but if you're coming from an iPad, this might feel a little bit more heavier. Now for the performance in 2019, TouchWiz equals lag. Now if you have been a Samsung owner for the S5 or the S4 series, you definitely know that, or you remember TouchWiz being a bit laggy. Now performance has been sluggish so far, and I'm using Nova Launcher instead of the stock launcher, pretty much because it's a lot more faster. And I do find myself constantly clearing the RAM because the tablet does freeze up sometimes, and when you have more apps opened, the performance completely crashes. And I do believe that a full factory reset is needed at this point, so I should get that done soon. As for the performance in 2015, when I first bought it, it really wasn't as fast as I expected it to be. For something that cost $749, I thought it would have been blazing fast, but in reality it wasn't. But that wasn't the main reason why I actually got this device. The main reason was for that S Pen. Now this device is still powerful enough for sketching, playing 2D games like Plants vs Zombies, which is pretty fun, for photo editing, for watching Netflix, for watching Hulu, and quite honestly, this is a great device for graphic designers thanks to that S Pen. Now let's go ahead and talk about that S Pen real quick. It's freaking awesome. Number one, it's great at taking notes, it's great at editing photos, it's great for drawing, and it's free. As for the Apple Pen, you gotta pay about what, 120 bucks, 99 bucks, whatever it is. And for taking notes, this saved me a ton of paper in college, and it definitely made taking notes fun. Now as for the performance of the S Pen, it's pretty accurate. It is pressure sensitive. It does have an S Pen slot, and it does have a built-in button on the pen to open up the shortcut menu. Now this device came with Android 4.4, and over the past couple years this was upgraded to Android Lollipop 5.0.2, and that was it. We only saw one software upgrade, and Samsung just pretty much left it as is. And as for the security updates, it doesn't really give me a month or a date. All I'm seeing is a security ASKS version 1.2 and Knox 2.3. No idea what this means, but maybe someone else knows. So I'm guessing that the tablet has a different software Android experience than on the Samsung smartphones, so that would make some sense. So this is the Galaxy S10 12.2 tablet, and if you're looking to buy one right now, you can definitely get one for like maybe around $300 on Craigslist or even on eBay. So that's my update of the Galaxy Note Pro 12.2 tablet. Let me know what you guys and girls think. If you plan on buying one, this is pretty much popular for college students and for graphic designers. So this is AlteredTech signing out. Hope you guys have a great and wonderful Monday. Peace.